Who's ready to put a sauna together? If you are, this is the video that they don't show you on the Sunlighten training videos, and this is called what it's actually like to put a sauna together. I decided to make this video for you on your behalf so that when you order one of these, you don't have any surprises. I watched a couple of the training videos that the company offered. I found them to be very helpful. But once the box was sitting in the garage and we started opening the box, I realized that there was a very large missing aspect to putting together the sauna, and that is that 50% of the entire project was getting this thing out of the box. Each one of these panels is large enough that you're going to want to be fairly fit and pretty competent in your level of dexterity. And you're really going to want to have probably two people there. In hindsight, I would say that a third set of hands would have expedited this process. As you can see, you kind of trade back and forth. And once you pop those straps, the whole box becomes a little bit precarious. The reason we have the box standing is because it's got large instructions on the side that say do not lay on its side. Laying the box on the side seems to be the most obvious and wise decision to get all of these items released. I will say the packaging was rather impressive. It had multiple layers of cardboard. You can see there's plenty of styrofoam and plastic wrap. But the way the panels are, especially this one here with the glass piece, without that third person, you feel really precarious. Like, I'm not sure if I can grab that. Is it safe? Am I going to break this thing? There's just no real easy, so I'm sliding it across. These are the little panels that you pop into they cover over the openings, the electronics and things inside once it's all put together. And that right there is the door that you attach. It attaches on that other opening piece. It is a large piece of tempered glass.
I think we are going to need another trash can. Yeah. All right. So that's the reality of putting one of these together. Mm-hmm. The starting point.
Not just 5 nice panels laying there waiting for you.
And the tempered glass shattered. Yeah. All right. Well, let's go where we can with it.
So you're out of the box and you have carried your pieces into the designated location in your home. This one went downstairs. The panels weren't too difficult carrying down the steps with a two-man team. A couple of them, they've got a little weight to them. And of course, you're going to open up the instructions because the video instructions you get are not going to be specific. So you will have to go through the actual hand instructions and you'll reference them numerous times. But you start with the bottom, and this is the very bottom where you have to undo little panels to make sure that the wire connections are getting accurately put together. And those are the feet. If you notice the little tiny footy pads that go on there, they do send a pretty janky little screwdriver. You would be wise to get yourself a drill with a couple drill bits. I think we used a Phillips head and then also an Allen key. So the bottom piece is set. You make sure it's in the right location, orienting how you're going to have this guy put together. And then all of the electronic panels have to be taken off. From there, it's a matter of taking each individual panel, and it's almost Lego-ish. You just put the slat in there. It's got a little resting nook. But as you can see, this is where that third person would come into play. Just a helper, someone who can stand and hold things so that you're not having to lean, you're not worried about things falling over. And if you notice, each of those little panels, and there's several of them, they all need to be taken off to make sure the wire connections are all exposed. Once they're lined up, this part was fairly simple. A step stool would be helpful. Luke is a little bit taller than I am, so he had an easier time. They give you these little U-clips, and there's two holes at the top, one on each of the walls, and they just tap those U-clips in to hold them together. All of the footage from the beginning and this here is double speed. You are going to want to budget, I would say, a minimum of 2 to 3 hours, possibly 4 hours, depending on your skill level. a drill, a small hammer. You're going to want to tap those clips in. Obviously, you'll keep referencing the instructions. And
This was plugged in right
I was impressed. We were both rather impressed. They do make this a bit foolproof.
plugged in right there.
The wire connections are such that
See what I mean? They've all got stickers.
you have like kind to like kind, so there's no margin of error. Basically,
Plug in color to color.
if you've got the male-female on the plug connections, there's no other option for you to get it wrong. They are labeled, however, the labels themselves did not always line up. But if there were 4 plugs, you know, plug A only connected with the other plug A and plug B with the other plug B. That did make it fairly simple. Also found that there was sufficient space for the wire harnesses and connections. It didn't feel like we had to jam anything. Sometimes if you've done any electrical work, you know, when you're shoving wires into a receptacle box and it gets kind of crowded. So you get your walls in place. We're going to expose this panel. This is our top panel. I believe it is. Let's find out. I'm not saying the training videos they offer are false advertisement in any way. I'm just saying that there's always a difference between television and reality. So before you put your top piece on, you're going to get that final 4th piece. And the opening there where Luke is standing is where that tempered piece of glass would go. That's the actual door that would have clipped onto those silver clips. Unfortunately, because the tempered glass, if you're familiar with tempered glass, one tiny little chip in the entire thing shatters through. It's a safety feature so that there are no large shards or large pieces of glass that could sever a limb or do some serious damage. The gentleman we helped who owns the sauna, he ordered a new piece of glass. I will assume the company was responsive and helpful to ship him a new one so that he could have his door. So wires are getting connected piece by piece. We're feeling secure. Time to put our panels back in. Button everybody up. If you notice, on the left side, that little opening on the wall. Those are also little wooden panels. And I believe you need to do those first before you put the floor down. So you're going to want to put your little wall pieces on prior to the floor panels. We had to take the floor panels back off. And then you're going to pop on your little mesh covering and make sure this guy's going to be lined up. You see the two speakers that go inside on the back over where the seating area is going to be. Making sure the wiring in the front gets to the right locations. And this is when I realized the cord, it's a special 110 style outlet. I am not an electrician by trade, so at first it reminded me of a European style plug, and I thought, oh, what the heck? Luke is explaining, no, it's a 110 outlet. It's just a different style so that you can have a designated plug. So you'll need to get some type of adapter, or you can change one of your outlets in order to be to receive this specific type of plug, which I will show you here in a moment. So you're mostly put together, and unfortunately we could not put our door on. So we're going to begin the process of cleaning up. Final button up. And Luke is putting the wire cover back on the top, and there's the antenna should you want to play, I guess, FM radio. And here you go. It's one of these guys. Looks very European. Inside, though, this thing is really pretty cool. You've got the stereo receiver, like a car stereo. Little dashboard here with your controls.
I want to see the LED lights.
These are going to be your vents where the sauna comes in. You've got some cool LED lights and your speakers. Really a bummer. We didn't get to fire the thing up, but there's some other videos out there. You can find them on YouTube. Good luck.